Good morning. Welcome to Saturday's Early Morning Intuitive Guidance. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum, here with some words of wisdom for your day. And before I forget, I want to remind everybody that tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., so after the Early Morning Intuitive Guidance, good morning, Abigail. Glad you're here. Welcome. We're doing Unity Cafe again. Good morning, Joe Neal. Welcome, welcome. So those of you who are already on the mailing list for Unity Cafe, I'll be sending out the link again. But if you are not on the mailing list, good morning, Barb. Welcome. Glad you're here for Unity Cafe. Send me a private message and with your email, and I'll add you to the list to receive the link for tomorrow morning. Good morning, Beth. Glad you're here. Welcome, welcome. Everybody's starting to roll in. And there's Carolyn. Good morning. Good morning, good morning. The whole tribe of practical rebels. And today's card is one of those the universe is not subtle in any way cards. So I'll give you the backstory and then show you the card. And it's purple. It's purple. It's a good color. It's a good color. So I need to fix an eyelash here first. There we go. All right. So, so I didn't feel well this morning. Lots of congestion. And I don't know if it's from the Canadian fires and everything is bleh out there in terms of air. It could be allergies. The cottonwoods always kill me, and I think we're right in cottonwood season. Or it could be there's a nasty virus that's going around. Who knows what's going on? Anyway, I woke up early feeling snotty. So I'm like, I just don't feel very good. So I'll be flooding myself with water today. Good morning, good morning. Glad you're all here. And then I got a message from which I don't even know which one came in first. Might have been the one from my sister that her dog had killed a rabbit in the backyard. Not fun. And then from a friend of mine that her mom had passed away last night. She was 96. And then as and my uncle passed away yesterday at 92. And as I'm prepping Facebook, there's always the few stories that you see before I go into the system to do a live. And it was a story about Betty White passing away at 99. And somewhere in the story, it said, it was like her assistant realized something was wrong. She had passed away. And I'm like, how is that wrong? She's 99. Good morning, Mel. Glad you are here. Welcome. We are so not good at factoring grief into our world that we view death as wrong. And I'm like, this is interesting. All of those folks, 99, 96, 92, they had long lives. What's to say that isn't? Well, it is. We know it is. Divine right timing. Divine right timing. And perfectly okay to grieve. Perfectly okay to grieve. And actually today, I've been waiting for this for, early in the month? I'm not even sure how long. Long time. My siblings and I are doing a Zoom with a grief coach. It's time to talk about plans for the future for Dad. So today's card, which comes from the Power of Surrender deck, again, Power of Surrender by Judith Orloff, surrender to receiving support and love. So I took a picture of the card and I sent it to my sister dealing with the dead rabbit and my friend who's dealing with the loss of her mom. It just feels like it's an appropriate card for these times. So let's see what you all think. So let's start with some breath. In through the nose, as best you can. Out through the mouth. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. It feels like it's important to do the reset. So by your baby finger, just tap, kind of a reset. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Good morning, good morning. My practical rebels. In through the nose, out through the mouth. And some of your names are rolling over and over and over again. Chest, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Surrender to receiving support and love. I want you to notice the light area behind there. That's really jumping out at me. So let's see what the polar bears have to tell us. Allow the love and support of others in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Allow the love and support of others in. Can you breathe yourself open? Breathe in. Breathe out. You might want to put a hand on your heart. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Notice how that feels. Notice how that feels. I've been doing a 7-day spiritual practice series with Rebecca Campbell, and it's been awesome. It's been absolutely awesome. The yesterday's was, it's something like earth sounding or earth thumping or earth something, but she laying on Mother Earth and opening your heart to the deep thrum of Mother Earth. How cool is that? How often do we do that? We can do that anytime. So I just was laying on my bed listening to her walk us through this process. It was lovely. So allow the love and support of others in rather than trying to handle everything yourself. Rather than trying to handle everything yourself. And I think already this morning I have 4 text messages from my sister trying to work through some of this stuff. Rather than trying to handle everything yourself, allow support. What if we all linked arms? We'd be a whole lot more stable than trying to navigate through dark times on our own. This can take the pressure off and simultaneously nurture you. This can take the pressure off and simultaneously nurture you. And when I think back on family deaths over the last 20 years, how, I'm going to use a word here, warped some of the perspectives have been. And this is further back than 20 years, but I remember my grandmother saying, after having attended the funeral of a friend of theirs, that his wife, she didn't shed a tear. And that was said with great admiration. Great admiration. And even at that point, I don't know, that might even have been 30, 40 years ago, I was like, how is this a good thing? How is this a good thing? This makes no sense whatsoever. Didn't to my mind anyway. So what are some things we can do day to day, today, to surrender to receiving support and love, to even asking for support and love? There's a thought. I'm not doing well today. I need some support and love. So a message just dropped in from another friend supporting the friend who lost her mom. So it's time we do better with grief. It's time we allow grief. It's time we hold space for others' grief. It's time we hold space for our own grief. What if we did that? That was another one. Oh, thank you. Thank you for dropping that back in. When I was looking through, the few little things that I see before I jump on here, there was another one about a story from Denmark, and it showed school children, and it said, empathy is taught in school as a subject. Holy crap, can you imagine empathy being taught in school as a subject, like science or English or whatever language? I think they speak, what do they speak? I can't remember. Anyway, I know that they do krona. That's their money. How do I know that? Because Iceland is under Dutch rule. Yeah, all the things. But again, I sent a text message with the card to my sister, and I said, sometimes God's not subtle. Sometimes God's not subtle at all. Here it is. So, all of those stories, the Betty White story, the teaching of empathy story, why those stories at that point in time? And I know the cynics among the crowd here are going to go, because the algorithm is listening to what you're saying and picking out words like grief, blah, blah. Whatever. Who gives a shit? However we get there, we get there. But man, we need to get there. We need to get there with the empathy thing. We need to get there with the supporting people in grief thing. We need to get there in terms of our own surrender to receiving support and love. Fabulous that you've learned to honor grief. Yay, yay. Teach that to your grandchildren. Teach that to your children if they'll listen to you as adults. Teach that to anybody who will sit down and learn. That's where we're at, folks. That's where we're at. That's a piece that is missing to this puzzle of how we as humanity survive. That's a piece that's missing. So, call to action. What can you do today to surrender to receiving support and love? What can you do today to hold someone in a place of support and love? What can you do today? Have an awesome day. We'll see you again tomorrow. Remember, you're capable of far more than you think you are.